I knew he was going to be hypoxic when he woke up. And I knew all hell was going to break loose, and it did.
Just when it feels like the situation is in hand, lifeguards are alerted to a new emergency.
Are you putting is that a shark alarm?
At least one of them flew in the rhino and hit me on the chest. And I've got my eye on the patient down south as well, and I couldn't stop and had this seagull in the passenger seat, and the whole thing was just really weird for me, so I just kept driving.
It was a really steamy hot day. You just know, hot day, something's going to happen. So I headed down to the northern end of the beach, and out of the corner of my eye, I see a guy fitting, and he's literally, I seen him falling. Yeah, guys, come down north. I've got the homeless bloke. He's having a fit down here. Ready to go? Yeah. I knew it was going to be really difficult. I had to get back up. Just remember that thought of, oh, no.
Mick, the jogger notorious for his white Speedos, is having a seizure at the north end.
He's still breathing, but he's unconscious.
Yeah, copy, mate. So I'm getting an ambo. Harry's is already there. Luke's gone down as well, and Jesse's there. We're lucky. We've got an ambulance parked across the road out the front of Bondi Surf Club. So we're going to try and see if we can get those guys to attend. I saw them there earlier having a coffee, and then, yeah, we're really lucky because they're attending. They're right here.
Hey, guys.
Hello, buddy. How are you feeling? It's the ambulance.
We got the paramedics down, and then it just pretty much snowballed from there.
So next we're going to get the spine board in behind him. Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Mick, well known for avoiding human contact, is about to find himself surrounded by half a dozen people as soon as he regains consciousness.
I count of three. I knew he was going to be hypoxic when he woke up. It's lack of oxygen to the brain. And I knew all hell was going to break loose, and it did.
Mick is disoriented from hypoxia, a lack of oxygen to the brain.
I told you to stop it!
He needs to be examined by doctors. Lifeguards restrain Mick while paramedics administer a sedative.
It must have been pretty hard for Mick because we had him strapped to the spinal board. Even with 5 lifeguards and 2 AMBO officers, we were struggling to keep him down.
We're trying to help you.
Help, please!
Promise we're trying to help you, mate.
Please.
It's extremely upsetting to see someone like Mick in pain, and I felt like we were inflicting the pain to a degree.
Eventually, Mick is sedated and can be transported to the ambulance for further medical care.
I count of 3. 1, 2, 3, let's go.
No, we do a lot of rescues with people you don't know, and, you know, Mick's a character that we see every day.
Lifeguarding is emotionally taxing. Even more so when the lifeguards are dealing with someone they know.
I need to sit down. Need to get me breath back. It's very physical, and it's emotional too. You know, so I'm a wreck. And you don't get it out of me much, but that was full on.
I don't really know Mick personally. I only know him from seeing him run the beach every day, and yeah, emotionally it does affect you a bit more than normal.
It's got to me for sure. You know, it's just something that we've got to deal with down here, you know. We've just got to get through the rest of the day now. It's only 10 o'clock in the morning, so fingers crossed nothing else happens.
Professional lifeguards patrol Bondi 365 days a year. On weekends in the busy summer months, volunteer lifesavers also patrol the beach.
The clubbies are invaluable. You can't say no to 40 extra lifesavers on a beach. It's an invaluable resource.
Chris is monitoring the north end when a problem develops further up the beach.
Hey mate, Chris, if you could just come down to 2 heads, just sort of midway out.
All of a sudden, the north side really started pulling. You know, the change of tides, it was getting deeper.
Guys, I need you to come back to waist depth.
Chris leaves volunteer lifesavers to manage the situation. Suddenly, more and more people are in trouble.
There's your attention, swimmers.
Mate, you're gonna have to go in.
We've got a board coming to help you now. Stay afloat, and if you can, come back to waist depth, quarter.
Tom is quickly overwhelmed.
I had probably 3 or 4 on the front of my board, followed by a number of other people out in the water who were able to help
The temptation is to run in, but Chris wisely manages the situation from shore.
We had to ask the clubbies to help us out. Just getting another 3 clubbies in with boards. There would have been 10 boards at least, you know. We had guys, just surf club guys who were training, helping us out.
Tom prioritises the worst swimmers.
Straight to those guys there, please. Those 3 there. Over to your right.
Eventually, more firepower is needed.
Tom's out there, mate. I think he's calling you in.
With no board around, I had to grab a Lifesavers board. So I grabbed that and went on out.
Yeah, Chris is on a clubby board.
Tom risks being overwhelmed by panicked swimmers.
Can you let go, please? Chris, can you take this guy?
Lifeguards and volunteer surf club members work side by side to stabilise the situation.
Copy. The boys have got it under control down there now. They just all sort of went in at once.
Just when it feels like the situation is in hand, lifeguards are alerted to a new emergency.
Are you putting is that a shark alarm?
Jake, I just heard the shark alarm go.
Yeah. What are you guys doing down there?
In extreme and very rare circumstances, the shark alarm will be used to clear swimmers from the water.
We know that as trained lifeguards, that means mass rescue, but the general public think it's a shark. None of them know it's a mass rescue.
The alarm has been sounded by volunteer lifesavers. The lifeguards, who have duty of care at Bondi, weren't given prior warning.
Before you guys do that, you've got to tell us. Because I know what you're trying to do, but it just causes panic. We've got it under control now, and thanks to everyone that's involved, but as soon as people start hearing the shark alarm, look, we've got surfers and everyone paddling in now, so it's just, it makes matters worse.
There was really no need for it, and half the people thought there was a shark.
The result is what matters, and a combined effort by lifeguards and volunteers has saved dozens of lives.
With the change of tide, there was enough pull where if you weren't a strong swimmer, you would get pulled off. And once people lose their footing, they start panicking a little bit, and when people really panic, then they can drown in bathtubs, so you've got to be right on top of it.
South end, go.
In the tower, Azza spots a pair of swimmers in trouble.
Yeah, go to the south end. They've just had a call from some of the icebergs.
Surfers helping someone on the board. We just had a call from the Bergs. These 2 blokes have just a bit out of their depth, I think. One of them's just started screaming for a surfer to help him, so boys have just gone down to get him.
So I jumped in the Rhino and I knew I didn't have a lot of time. This guy was in a really bad way and I had a fair bit of ground to cover, so I hit the gas and floored the Rhino. Jethro noticed me in my haste and joined in as well.
I just thought I'll go with him, and the call came through, yeah, Jeff, back him up. And it was pedal to the metal, like we were going.
I pretty much had the Rhino going flat stick as fast as it could go, and on the way down I encountered a flock of seagulls and I couldn't really brake or anything.
Singlets has gone straight through the guts of a flock of seagulls.
At least one of them flew in the Rhino and hit me on the chest, and I've got my eye on the patient down south as well, and I couldn't stop and had this seagull in the passenger seat, and the whole thing was just really weird for me, so I just kept driving. I got down to the patient and unloaded the board, and the seagull had fallen out of the seat, so I don't know where it had gone at that stage, but like I said, my priority was this patient because he was going under.
I think one of them's almost got washed in, but one's still clinging to the surfer's board, like he's going to die.
Jethro reaches the first man.
Jethro's been brushed.
Singlets heads for the second man, who has been saved by a surfer.
He was kind of really relieved to see me, a Colombian guy, really out of breath and looked like he was probably on his last couple of strokes.
All good. Folson's got his bloke and Jethro's just got wet.
With both men safe, Singlets turns his attention back to the seagull.
When we got out, Singo said to me, mate, I killed a seagull. And it was like he murdered a human. He was so rattled.
Yeah, it's pretty out of shape, isn't it?
He said, Jeff, mate, he was in the passenger seat. I hit it and it was in the passenger seat, and he looked like he was about to cry, mate.
I feel bad, but there was not really much I could do.
I was just like, oh no, this can't be real, you know? Especially, you know, we spend so much time on the beach with these seagulls. They're like our buddies, you know?
We thought we better pay all due respect, you know, it was just sitting on the sand and we sort of cut its life a little bit short. We thought, you know what, we'll do the good thing and we'll bury it. And we'll give it a little ceremony and a couple of words and send him off.
Yeah, I think the seagull's gone to a better place and yeah, definitely sort of buried him on the beach. Where else would he want to be?
But as one Bondi resident is put to rest,
Look who's here!
another one is back on his feet. Mick, the reclusive jogger who collapsed on the beach, has come to thank the lifeguards.
You're good? Nothing there, nothing there. Blood tests okay, x-rays okay.
Mate, I'm just stoked that you're all right. I was a bit worried about you.
How do you feel now? Are you tired?
A little
bit groggy?
I feel like going for another run.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, do us all a favour and don't do that.
I honestly didn't think Mick could speak like that. It was very bizarre how much he was onto it and knew what was going on, and yeah, it was very weird.
I was diagnosed with temporal lobe epilepsy about 30 years ago, but I've had a few tests since that time and they say there's nothing there.
He was really talkative and really coherent and really sharp. That's the most we've ever heard Mick talk to us.
Yeah, all right, well, I'll get out of here. I'll go up there now.
All right, cheers, Mick. I'm stoked you're all right.
Thanks for everything. You will be rewarded.
Cheers, buddy. Thank you.
How cute was that?
It's really nice to see that he'd come back not only to say hello and thanks for treating him, but just to see that he was in a good place and he was well.
That's the first I've ever heard him talk. Like,
Yeah, I've had a few
Proper
conversations with him, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that he could speak like that. That's a spin out.